Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming to class. We're going to play with some psoas work, but with regard to the psoas, also some kind of side body stuff. So let's start by laying down, and I want you to have your strap and your yoga block near you where you can get to it easily, okay? And then come on down. I had oatmeal for breakfast this morning and I can feel it all going all through my throat. All right, so feel your body. Keep your legs bent, your knees bent, and your feet on the floor, and very solidly on the floor. Like just feel the four corners of your feet and maybe even lift up your toes and then place the toes back down so that you feel really nice and grounded. And then draw the shoulders down toward the floor and find that neutral spine so that you have some space behind the lower back and your pelvis is neutral. So that you're not tilting the pelvis, you're not tucking it, you're just finding that nice neutral space. And allow one hand to be at the low belly and one hand to be at the upper belly or chest, as long as both elbows are down on the floor, so that you can relax. And then start to tap into your breath. And as you inhale, feeling the belly rise and the chest rise. And exhaling, feeling the chest soften down and the belly soften down and in a little bit. And keep that up, breathing in and breathing out. That's it, a few more here. Notice if you're clenching your jaw. Notice if you are holding the muscles of your belly. One more nice focused breath here. And then straighten the left leg along the floor. Bring the right knee to your chest. Use your hands behind your knee or behind your thigh to draw the knee closer. And then press the left foot long as if you were pressing that foot into a wall, right? So you're really making the left leg long, and then push the right knee away from you so that your arms go straight. So you're pushing the left foot into an imaginary wall. You're pushing the right leg away from you, but resisting. Draw the shoulders down a little bit and hold. And then exhaling, just let the right knee come closer to chest. Good. Inhale, push the knee away. Exhale, pull it closer. One more, push it away. And exhale closer. And then let go of the right leg. Just set the right leg next to the left and feel one side to the other, just briefly. You might not notice any difference, or you might want to notice just that simple little exercise, creating some opening already. And then activate the right leg. Imagine that right foot pushing on the wall or standing on the floor, and draw your left knee to your chest. Hold your hands behind your thigh. And pause, draw that knee close to chest, and then push the left leg away. So really got some activity going here, but I'm also drawing the shoulders down so that the shoulders don't overly round to the front body. I'm pushing the left leg away. I'm engaging the right leg as if I'm stepping on the wall or stepping on the floor. And exhale, draw that left knee closer to chest. Inhale, push it away. Exhale, draw it in. One more, push it away. And exhale, release it. And then straighten that leg all the way down to the floor. Pause for a second, maybe wiggle those hips a little bit. And then walk both feet to the right edge of your mat. Both feet over to the right edge of your mat. Take the left hand to the left front hip and draw that hip back down to the floor. So this is part of a banana pose, right? Maybe you scoot your shoulders over to the right a little bit, but please be gentle here. It's very early in class, and bring the left hip back down to the floor so that you feel even on your sacrum, okay? So you're not tilting over to the right. And just pause here, relax everything. You don't have to flex anything. Just breathe, take a deep breath. Exhale it out. And then take the left hand overhead, palm face up, to get a little bit deeper stretch in that whole left side. Again, keeping the left hip down on the floor, keeping the pelvis level. Big deep breath. And release, walk both feet to center. The arms come back to neutral. Pause for just a second there. And then walk both feet over to the left corner of your mat. Pause here. Check the hips, right? Usually one side tighter than the other. For me on this side, the right hip is staying down. On the other side, left side, my hip wanted to pop up. So you can really feel a difference. Maybe you scoot the shoulders over to the right or over to the left a little bit. Your right hand stays on the right hip to keep it grounded. And we just take a deep breath here. And exhale it out. Good. Pause. Breathe in. Exhale out. And then take the right arm overhead. Palm is face up. The elbow is soft. Just see if you can find any more stretch on that right side. And notice maybe a difference right side to left side. Very apparent to me, especially when we stretch early in class like this. You can feel some differences pretty easily. And release the arm, walk those feet back to the center, bend both knees. Oh, good. Grab your strap, everybody. Take the strap around your right foot. Take that foot up to the ceiling and then scoot the strap down toward the heel. And Lindy, I might have too much of a loop on that. So if you need to shorten the loop, go ahead and do that. So for a moment, your right foot is up, pointed up toward the ceiling. The foot is flexed. The left foot is pushing into the floor, and then notice your lower back. So some of you know I'm in the middle of a 5-week training, teacher training that is teaching me how to neutralize the pelvis, right? Which helps with all kinds of hip and SI joint stuff. So I want you to find the middle space of your back, lower back and sacrum so that you are resting on your sacrum and there's space behind the low back, which means my right leg is not coming up as far as it would if the back was flat. So hold that, really keep some tension on the strap, and then straighten the left leg and see if you can stay with that alignment. So my pelvis is neutral. right? I'm not tilting, I'm not tucking. I've got a little space behind my lower back. I've got a little bit of a stretch going, and then flex the foot even more, the right foot even more. Bring those toes down toward the knee and feel that big old stretch along the back of your right leg. Keep your left hand on the front of your left hip and take the right leg out to the side a little bit. As soon as you feel that left hip pop up, you've gone too far. So breathe, bring the weight back. In fact, let's everybody take that leg back up. Let's do something a little bit different. Grab that block that I had you keep near you and set it on the outside of your right hip, on the outside of your right hip. Now take that right leg and bring it out to the right and allow the hip to land, the outer hip or outer thigh to land on your block. Okay. You can change the height of the block if you need to. Try to relax your shoulders. Lengthen through your left leg. Imagine that left foot stepping on the floor or on the wall. Soften your breath. Level out the hips so that both hips are about the same distance. Find your breath. You got it. Good. Inhale right here. Exhale, draw the belly in, take the leg back up, grab the strap with your left hand and take it partway across. Holy moly. Your right thumb goes to your right hip crease. Draw the hip crease long, right? So I'm just kind of C-clamping that left or that right hip and drawing it away as I keep a little space in the lower back. Breathe as I keep the sacrum down and take it to center. Bend your knee, straighten the leg. Woo, and just kind of feel that, right? So those few stretches right there, I'm going to flip over so I have room. Those few stretches right there, holy moly, what a difference. All right, so let's go to the other side. Your left foot goes to the strap moves a little closer to the heel. Your right leg is, right knee is bent for a moment. Your block is to the outside of your left hip. So we're all set up. And then feel this again, feel the pelvis, right? Are you tucking? Are you tilting? Is your back flat, right? Try to unflatten your lower back so that you feel the sacrum on the floor pretty evenly without going into a tucked pelvis. And then try to keep that as you straighten the right leg. Draw the shoulders down, butt relax, right? Nice flex of the left foot, nice engagement of the right leg. Just pause here, everybody. Check out the hips. Do they feel pretty even? Does the right side feel grounded? Breathe. And then flex the foot even more, the left foot even more, and feel maybe a deeper stretch through the back of the leg, all through that calf muscle, the heel, right? Maybe into the hamstring a little bit. And then with the block to the outside of your left hip, grab the strap in your left hand, maybe a little external rotation of the leg. I didn't say that on the other side. Right hand stays on your hip bone to keep it grounded so that you can feel what's happening with the pose. So as we soften the right hip down to the floor, the left leg is out to the side. You might feel a nice stretch through the inner thigh. Find your breath. Do those sides of your waist feel pretty even? Are you really lifting up through the left side and shortening that side of your waist? Maybe, maybe not. Nice deep breath. Again, maybe you notice, right? What side's tighter? Ooh, then the other side as we find our body's ways through equilibrium, right? Stability. Breathe. And then inhale, deep breath. Exhale, draw the leg up. Grab the strap with your right hand. Just go over a little bit. Take your thumb into the left hip crease. Hopefully you can see that. And then draw the hip down as we lengthen both sides of the body. Just a small stretch here, a small movement, right, of the left leg, but usually a pretty big stretch through that hip. Inhale to center, bend the knee, release your strap, and straighten both legs. And just pause, maybe wiggle out the feet. Ooh, and feel those hips, everybody. Good. All right, bend both knees. Grab your block. Last one here. We're going to set that block underneath the sacrum. So we all know this by now, I hope. That block goes on the hard triangle-shaped bony sacrum. It is not anywhere at your lower back. If you put your hands on those hips, right, at the waist, the block is below that. Your sacrum is on the block, and so are your SI joints. And we can talk about those later. And then take both hands to both front hips, those front hip bones, and just kind of wiggle them out a little bit and see if you can find evenness. So evenness side to side, evenness up and down. We create patterns in our bodies so that one hip may normally hike up, and if it does, we draw it down and breathe. Ooh, yeah. And then right knee goes to chest, but don't round your back. Left leg straightens down to the floor. If there is pain here, bend the left knee a little bit and try to keep anything from happening there. You can play with your sacrum. You could tilt or tuck a little bit more, but you don't want to round in the low back. Relax your left leg. Take the left arm overhead. Take a really deep breath in. Exhale out, and when you exhale out, draw the belly in deep and up. Good. One more big deep breath. Exhale. Squeeze the belly in and up. You should feel a nice stretch there. As you release it, bend the left knee, put the left foot on the floor. Let your left arm come down, let the right foot come to the floor. So you're back with bent knees. Draw your left knee to your chest. Straighten the right leg. Relax the right leg. Check out your hips. Where are they? Find your breath. Try to relax here, right? So a lot of times, especially the way I teach yoga, we're always flexing something, right? Or engaging something. Well, here I'm trying to give you permission to not flex or engage. Allow the right leg to be long. Relax your feet. Relax the belly, the shoulders toward the floor. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, deep breath out. Good. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Bend your right knee, foot to the floor, left foot to the floor, restorative bridge. I want you to press into the feet. Just lift the hips high enough to take the block out, no higher. So you're more of a kind of almost a halfway bridge. The hands are down to the floor, the palms are face down. Hold right here and imagine pulling those legs apart as if you had a strap around the thighs and you're pulling those thighs apart. Breathe, glutes active, right? Hips active. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, One, lower down to the floor, everybody. Pause, resist the urge to take those knees to your chest. And then bring your knees to your chest, which always feels better. Roll the knees over to one side and come on up. Woo-wee, right? So interesting stuff. And I'm really learning a lot already about how the hips, the pelvis work and how that has an effect on our SI joints and on our hips, all this stuff happening. So grab your strap. Hold on to the buckle end or fold it in half if it's a really long one, and take the strap up overhead. Bend the elbows, squeeze behind you. Good, inhale it up. Watch the head, the neck, try to keep it neutral. Exhale down, inhale. Exhale. Good, two more, take it up. Exhale it down. One more, take it up. Exhale down. And then take it up. Soft elbows, pull that strap apart. Watch the head, the neck, right? So we're not extending all the way up. We're keeping it soft, but pulling the strap apart, getting some good energy. And then imagine the back body getting more active. So just squeeze between the shoulder blades a little bit as you pull that strap. Good, breathe, release the pull. Take one arm up and one arm down. Doesn't mean you're gonna touch the floor. It's a big stretch. Take it up, over to the other side. Inhale up. Exhale, deep breath. Let's wake up. I don't like this time change, I gotta tell you. And last one. If you're a morning person, this is hard for you. If you're a night person, you love this. Take this strap right in front of your chest and twist to one side. Breathe. Take it center, twist to the other. And center and release it. Nice job, everybody. Good. Set that strap aside. Gather your blocks to the front of your mat. And we're going to come right to downward facing dog. So find table pose. Right is a nice option here. Table pose, flip your toes under, lift the knees, press the hips back, and straighten those legs. Once you're there, pedal out your feet. Pedal, pedal, pedal. And start to maybe turn the heels to one side, turn the heels to the other side. So again, we're stretching out side body, the hands stay level. Breathe. And back to downward facing dog. Tone in through the belly. Open up those shoulders, everybody. Hold your pose. That's it. Waking up the body, finding our strength, using that upper body, pressing back through the heels as well. And then walk those hands all the way back to your feet. Bend those knees as much as you need to. Take your hands to your knees, come halfway up and lift all the way up and roll your shoulders. Whew. Good, you're at the back of your mat, so inhale, take it up. Exhale, big soft knees down to the floor. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway up. Exhale down, walk those hands out, down dog. And breathe, find that pose, everybody. Check your form. We're holding these poses, checking our form. Good, plank pose. Find your breath. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees. Lower your hips. Come to Sphinx pose. So you're going to just slide onto your elbows. If your lower back is chatty, walk those elbows forward a little bit more. But everybody tone in through the lower belly. Lengthen your tailbone. Take the feet wider on your mat. And breathe. And then just sway side to side. And see if you can find that belly again, right? As we sway side to side, see if you can find the stretch there. Do you feel that, Linda, at all? Yeah, like, and is one side tighter than the other side? It is for me, very obviously, it always has been. My left side is tight. So figure out your tight side and hold. So for me, I'm leaning to the right and I'm kind of looking off to the right. I'm keeping my left hip planted and I am stretching the left side of my belly. If it's the right side for you, go there. If it's neither side, just go side to side and pause for a moment on both sides. Good. Come on back to the center, everybody. Hold here. I want you to push into your knees, tuck up, hold that pose. Lift the knees, optional, elbow plank, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees, lower the hips, listen up. We're not going to be here forever, so I know, especially my low back folks out there, I want you to walk both elbows to the right and plant your left hip and breathe. How does this feel in your body? Right? Can you feel maybe a stretch from your left hip bone through the left ribs? Maybe, maybe not. Big deep breath. Oh, yeah. Good. Walk the elbows to the center. Hold. And then walk those elbows all the way over to the left. You're not going far, but right. So there's a tendency to kind of lift off that opposite hip. So instead, I want you to draw it back. If you look for or feel for the center of your pubic bone, right? That hard bony bone that we're all leaning on right now, that's your signal. That's your, okay, yes, I'm centered. Breathe. Deep breath. That's it. And center, everybody. Find that Sphinx pose again. Push into your knees, lift up. I want you to push back to table pose. I know, right? So some of you are feeling your back here. Let's give you a good strong cat pose. Round up. Release, small tilt into cow. And then feel like somebody's gonna poke your belly button in. Flip your toes under, downward facing dog. Find your breath. Walk your hands back to your feet. Bend the knees deeply. Take your hands to your knees. Lift your head, neck, chest, and come up to standing. And then find mountain pose. So, right here, I want you to engage the legs. Open up through the chest. Lengthen through the tailbone. Feel really nice and tall. And then take your hands to your heart. Big deep breath. Lean into your right foot and lift your left foot off the floor. Breathe. Find your focus point. Come on back to center. Find the center of your feet. Lean into your left and see if you can lift the right. Breathe. Come back to center. Inhale, reach the arms up. Big deep knee bend. Take it down. Hands to shins, halfway up. Exhale it down. Walk the hands out, downward facing dog. I love walking to down dog and walking back. I feel like it's building all that wrist, forearm, upper arm, shoulder strength, right? We are keeping our body strong, everybody. Hold your pose. Tuck in through your low belly. plank pose. You got this. You know you can take the knees down anytime. 10, 9, 8. Fire up the legs. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees. Lower your hips. Sphinx pose. Here we are again. Pause here. Breathe. Start to squeeze in through the belly. Push into your knees. Lift your hips. This in and of itself is a great core exercise. So pull the hips up. Pull them. Yeah. Breathe. Lift the knees. Optional. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees. Lower your whole body. Whole body down. Shake out your hips. Bend the knees. Flex your feet. Find your pose. And then press your pubic bone down. So right at the front of that pubic bone, I'm pushing it down to activate the glutes. Keep the upper body low. And breathe. And release. Woo, good. Shake it out, everybody. All right, you're going to press into your knees. Press up. Lift to plank. Go to down dog. Hold here. Shake it all out. Turn those hips side to side. Turn the feet side to side. And then take it down to table pose. Breathe, tone in through the belly. Adjust your right hand. I tend to stay wide in my down dog. So kickstand your left foot in, kickstand your left hand, or not kickstand, but adjust. And then stretch out your right leg. When I look, before I even lift, when I look, my left knee and my right foot are pretty much lined up. And then I'm going to take the right hand to my hip and breathe. Plant that right foot and try to get the right or the left knee and the left hip more or less in alignment. That's it. Tone in through the belly. Take your top arm up to the ceiling. And then take the arm overhead so that the palm is face down. Don't let the head hang. Lift the leg if you want. So right leg lifts, right arm overhead, squeeze in through the belly, everybody. And then lower the foot and lower the arm closer to the floor. Make a huge C curve in that side of your body. Good. Release. Take that hand to the floor. Come back to table pose. Shake out your hips. And let's do the other side. So you're going to kickstand out your right foot and then lengthen your left foot out. So when I lift that leg, when I turn to the side and lift the leg, right, I'm going to bring my right shoulder right over the right wrist. So that's the alignment that you're looking for. So tone in through the belly, leave the foot down for now, take the top arm up and overhead. Nice tone to the belly, breathe, and then lift the leg. Find your pose, don't let the head hang. That's it, you got this. And then lower the foot, but also lower the hand closer to the floor and make a big C curve with that side of your body. Again, notice if you feel stretch. And then release, hand to the floor, knees back to neutral, downward facing dog, everybody. Hold here. Take your feet wide on the mat. Walk your hands back. Bend the knees nice and deep, hands to knees, come on up. Oh. And roll it out. Grab one of your blocks. Where'd they go? Good. Grab one of your blocks, take it long. Take it between your thighs. Walk the feet in so that you have good purchase here, and then just pause. Take a deep breath. Right, so again, we just kind of notice, how's this feeling? When we do a lot of this work, especially for me, I've been playing with this for about a solid week, and my pelvis actually feels a little funky. But that's because I'm trying to break up some long held patterns. So we always want to be mindful not to overdo, right? But to feel what's happening in the body. So give the block a good squeeze, let the glutes squeeze. You should feel that. The pelvis is neutral. If we were to set something here, if we were laying down, we wouldn't be tilting our butts back and we wouldn't be tucking in. Good. Lean to one side. See if you can lift the other foot. Breathe. Stay tall. Notice if you want to tip forward, lean forward. And come down. Lean into the other side. Find your still point. See if you can lift the foot off the floor. And release. Good. Take the block out and just drop it off to the side. Your feet are hips width apart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, come on down to a squat. I want you to take your elbows to your knees. I'm going to turn sideways here. So you got your elbows to your knees. Maybe your feet are just slightly wider than your normal hips width apart. And feel like lean into the ball mounds until your heels are lifting or almost lifting. I'm not going to stay here, but I want you to feel that imbalance. And then come back to the center of your feet and lift your toes. And see if you can find the four corners. Lower the toes. Now, let's move up to the pelvis. Your knees, relatively speaking, your knees are over your ankles. Okay, if they're a little bit forward, that's okay. If they're a lot forward, set your butt back. Squeeze the low belly in and up. And notice how that one move supports the low back, right? So notice that. Now try to pull the heels of both feet away from each other. Belly's toned in, the heels are pressing out to the sides. We've just engaged the whole transverse abdominis. Take one hand to one knee, one hand to the other knee. Keep the form of that, but lift the chest. Notice if you went to your low back. Notice if you curled or tilted more. Feel that. Lift the chest. Take your hands to your heart. Pull the heels apart. Feel the belly tone in and up. Ooh, whole lot of work, right? Who made chair pose this hard? I don't know. Arms out, optional. If it makes you round your upper back, the hands come back to your heart. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand up. Squeeze the legs together isometrically. Isometrically. Squeeze the heck out of your butt. That's it. And release. Whew, shake it out. Got one more similar. You're going to take the feet a little bit wider. Your feet are pointing straight. Your knees are pointing straight ahead. Everything's straight ahead. Hip point straight ahead. Bend the knees and come on down, elbows to knees again. And check it out, right? So if our tendency is to roll in our knees, here's your opportunity to press them out so that they are in alignment. Lift up all your toes. Spread the toes out. Feel the four corners of your feet and lower your toes. Tone in through the belly. All right, here we go. You're going to take the hands to the outside knees. Draw the shoulders back. Push your knees into your hands isometrically. Whew. Tell me that's not a lot of work. It looks like nothing. Make sure the hips are staying back. Push those knees out into your hands. Release the hands. Keep the movement. Take your hands to your heart. Stand up. Ooh. Squeeze your butt. Breathe. And let go. Nice job, everybody. All right, back to the front of your mat. Blocks are at the front of your mat. Inhale, reach up. Deep knee bend, take it down. Step the right foot back. Make sure your pose is wide enough for you. Take your hands to your blocks. You're down low, everybody. You're down low. Your blocks can be at any height that feels comfortable for you, but make sure you can feel lifted out of the pose. Now, your right foot is back. I want you to press the heel back. And imagine that somebody put a block on the back of your thigh, and you have to push that thigh up into your block. Okay, so just try to imagine that. Tone your belly in. We've been doing this all class. Push through the back heel. Take both hands to your front knee. Walk the hands a little further up your thigh, and then push down, 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 down on your thigh and lift up your torso. Breathe. Now, left hip draws back a little, right hip draws forward a little bit. The belly tones in, the chest starts to lift. Squeeze the thighs together isometrically. Take the arms up. Simple lunge here, right? We do it all the time. But when we focus on different things, it changes the pose. See if you can lift your front toes. Front toes. Breathe. Notice how lifting your toes just activated your butt. How the heck does that happen? Lower your toes. Hands come to your thigh. Push down. Slide the hands forward. Slide the torso forward. Hands to blocks. Holy moly. Set your blocks aside. Downward facing dog. Oh, down dog feels so good now. Big deep breath. Breathe, everybody. Let's throw a plank in there just because we can. Knees up, knees down. Let's do a count of 10. Don't let the hips sink. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Knees down, hips down. Take it down. Optional Sphinx pose. Watch your back. Watch your back. Walk the elbows to the right. Breathe. Notice if there's a difference in your stretch, if you felt it the first time. That's it. Walk the elbows center. Walk them to the left. Do the hokey pokey. Turn it all around. That's what it's all about. Walk the elbows center. Hang in there. I had to move my blocks out of the way, so I'm bringing them back where they need to be. Press into your elbows. Curl up. Push into your knees. Take those hips up. Core work. I know, we've been doing lots of work these days. Knees up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees. Table pose. I know, right? Down dog. Find your pose. Step forward, right leg. If I can do it, you can do it. Yes, you can. Good. Check your leg width and make sure you're wide enough. Make sure your front ankle, your front knee are pretty well lined up. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Keep the torso low. Take your hands to your knee. Start to push, slide the hands halfway up your thigh. Tone the belly in, woo, to lift and breathe. Find your pose. Arms up. That's it. Nice, solid, strong lunge. If you're really wobbly, it might be too long or too narrow, right? So check that out because sometimes we'll go there. Lift your front toes off the floor. Gonna really mess with your balance. Breathe. Let's activate those glutes. Lower the toes. Take your hands to your thighs and press down. I'm giggling because my sis and I are both wobbling. And she can see me and I can see her. So press down on your thigh. Slide the hands down to your knee. Slide the torso forward. Bring the right hip back. Right, because it tends to roll forward. Take your hands to your blocks. Woo! Walk your blocks forward. Take a half step up. Then step up the rest of the way. And breathe. Nice forward fold here. Soft knees. Lengthen the torso, everyone. Find your breath. Bend both knees. Sit back, hands to hips. Or sorry, hands to knees. Lift your chest halfway. Squeeze your belly in. Lift your chest a little bit more. One more chair pose, just because we can. Breathe. It's like you're sitting back. See if you can lift your toes, right? Lift the toes. You contact the four corners of the feet. Lift up all the way. Squeeze your butt. Exhale, let it go. Shake it out. So one of my friends just sent me this morning an article, I think it was the Washington Post, about yoga, yoga, and how it decreases frailty as we get older, okay? So tons and tons of studies. Yes, there's all these caveats and stuff. Tons of studies saying that it helps us maintain health and longevity and decrease frailty as we get older. I like that. I like that a lot, right? And how do we do it, right? We get the legs strong. We get the body strong. We use our hands, shoulders, arms to make that happen. All right, so take the feet wide. We're almost done here. Find your breath. Talking up a storm. All right, so feel your feet, right? Feel your feet. Feel that solidness of your feet. And then come on down to your squat again. Elbows to knees. Hopefully that's not too low for anybody. Tone in through the belly. As soon as I do that, my lower back lengthens and that pressure comes off my lower back. Now imagine that you're going to dig those feet in so much, right? And I'm even lifting my toes again because what I want to dig in is the four corners. I don't want to dig my toes in. So I'm digging in those four corners. I've got the belly toned, and I'm just going to take my elbows off my knees. If your low back is starting to chat with you, take it back down. Breathe. And then take the torso up, 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 up. Push into the feet to straighten the legs. Keep the hands at the heart. Come on down again. You don't have to go low, okay? Tone in through the belly. Take that pressure off the low back. Push into your feet. Once you're standing, squeeze your glutes, hips. One more. Down we go. Up we go. And release it. Shake it out, everybody. Simply want you to turn one foot under and stretch the top of your feet. You would never think this would be tight, ever, right? Yeah. Good. Release. Go to the other side. Just turn it over. Get it a little stretch. And release. And then tree pose. We haven't done a tree pose in a while. We want to think about the standing leg. So all I want you to do initially is, if I'm mirroring here, I'll be standing on my left leg for you, but it's really my right leg. This hip draws in. Keep that hand on that side of the hip and keep it there. So when it wants to scoot out, squeeze it in. And then just take the foot off the floor. Don't do anything else. And find the length of your standing leg. Notice that hip, right? It's not coming out. And then decide, do you want to go low? Do you want to go medium? Do you want to go high? Re-engage, that hand's giving you information. Take the other hand to the center of your heart and breathe. So I'm actively pushing my hand into my hip. Whew. Feedback, right? Squeeze the glutes. Take both arms up optionally. That's it. And release it, everybody. Shake it out. All right, same thing on the other side. So hand goes to hip. So this muscle right here is called your tensor fascia lata. It's above your hip joint. It feeds into the glute. It feeds into your iliotibial band that goes all the way down to your knee. So if we're doing this, how much is out of alignment to make that happen, right? So here we go. Squeeze it in and just hold it. Love it. It's lovely. Love it. Okay. So it's squeezed in. Just find the center of the left foot or right foot for you all, I think, and lift the other foot and see if you can get the feedback here with the hand and the hip and the drawing in of the muscles around the joint. And then decide, maybe it's toe to the floor. Maybe it's below the knee. Maybe it's above the knee. But re-engage here with that hand. Take the other one to your heart. And find your balance. Find your pose. Release and take both arms up only if you want, or take them both to your heart, which is a little more stable. Woo! And look at the camera. Oh no. Can she recover? Breathe. And release. Good job, everybody. Shake it out. Woo. All right, stand tall. Take one hand down the side of your leg. Take the other hand up the side of your waist. Hold. Go the other way, but go slow. Down the leg, up the waist. Go the other way. This time, the one that's going up the side of your body is going to keep going and go over your head. Bring it back down, same way. Extend and reach. And release fully. Go wide on your mat or off your mat. Big deep hinge of your hips. Lengthen the torso out and then let your hands come to the floor. Big deep breath, everybody. That's it. Let the head be heavy. Let it be heavy, everybody. Good. Press the hands straight and then walk yourself to the front of your mat. So you're back in a lunge, just long enough to step back to downward facing dog. Hold here. Notice your downward facing dog. Does it feel different to you than the first one? Does it feel different to you than the one just before this one? What can you refine in your own pose, right? Without me saying, do this, do that, what can you feel about your body that could be played with a little here? And then tippy toes down to knees. Whew. And listen up. This is not going to be for everybody. If you can, I want you to sit on 1 or 2 blocks and have your knees bent and your feet behind you. Like I said, this is not going to be for everybody because it might be painful for your knees. So if this hurts your knees, but you can still do this, just do 2 blocks and see if that makes a big difference. Usually it does. And then move the flesh out from the sit bones and breathe. Now, if the tops of your feet are really tight, you're going to be having a conversation. So we're not going to stay here for long. This is a variation of hero pose, and I really like it. And part of what happens for us as yogis is we stretch the hamstrings a lot. We don't stretch the quads a lot. They're tricky to stretch. So I want you to just take 1 foot out, which will feel better already. And I'm going to have to move away from the wall a little bit. So that'll feel better already. And then I want you to lean back on your hands. Some of you are going to feel this right away. For the rest of us, I just want you to tilt the pelvis as if you were going to lift off your block, but don't lift off. Just tilt it up as if you were going to take that up. You feel that? So it's right through here, right? This big stretch for a really big muscle, right? The quadricep muscles are huge and we use them for everything, and then we don't stretch them. And we wonder why our pelvis is misaligned, I mean, amongst other things. And you can straighten that leg. You can just lean back. If you got a wall behind you, all the better. Just don't sink out your chest or drop down through your chest. One more big deep breath, everybody. You can wiggle the hips a little. Just watch the knee. And then lean forward. You're going to take that leg and put it back, and then put this other one forward. This is one of the better thigh stretches if your knee can handle that kind of compression. Something you could do, which I didn't think of until just now, is a lot of times I'll see somebody put a rolled up washcloth underneath between the knee, and that gives that knee some space, which can really help. All right, so here we are. Lean back. Press the hip up as if you're going to take your whole hip, both hips off the floor. And breathe. And again, you might notice one side tighter than the other. Pause here and breathe. The quadricep muscles are fascinating. Quad, meaning 4. There's 4 quadricep muscles. They go straight down to the kneecap and they go on either side of the kneecap. So they have a lot to do with our comfortness. I make up words all the time. of the knee. You can straighten the other leg. Keep pressing the hips up as if you were going to lift them. Take a deep breath. Good. Maybe one more deep breath. Often it's the dominant leg that is tightest, but not always. Good. Lift up. Bend that knee if it's straight. Take the other one out. Hallelujah. You're sitting up on your block and then flex both feet. Good. And release and flex a couple times. Good. And then go to one side, take that block out. All right, how do I want to do this one? Okay, so facing back with your feet at the front or back of your mat. Lean back and take the feet a little bit wide, not too much, and let the knees roll down to the right. You're going to take your top knee and bring it back so that the sole of the little arch of your foot kind of meets the knee. And then make sure you're comfortable. So I'm leaning on my right hand. My knees are to the right. My foot is sandwiching my little kneecap here. And then I want you to turn your torso about 45 degrees or at an angle of about 45. If I were thinking about it, where that right hip point is, I'm going straight out from that. And then walk the hands out a little bit. Maybe you feel the stretch in the belly. So Linny, walk your hands more forward. Nope, I'm sorry, there, but more forward. Like straight out, there you go. So, excuse me, here we are. I want you to think about a couple of cues here. Again, I've been, some of the stuff I've been learning. This back hip, the back hip's glute, you can put your hand on it. So put your hand on your back hip or your back leg's glute. It's really your top hip. Down on the butt, not on the waist. And then tuck it down a little bit. And as you tuck, the ribs that are closest to the floor are going to draw in. Do you feel that? And then take your hand back to the floor. So I'm drawing the right side ribs in. I'm tucking the left side hip under. Little baby details here, everybody. Pause. You don't need a lot here. And then release it and come back to center. Wrap your knees or elbows around your knees and just pause. You can curl, you can lengthen. Good. And then let's go to the other side. Your feet are a little bit wider than your normal. Let the knees go to the left. Take your left foot and curl it around your right knee. And then start to turn roughly, it's kind of halfway, like all the way would be the front of your mat. None of the way would be facing the wall or whatever's in front of you there. So come halfway in the middle of that. And just pause for a moment and notice that. And then your back hip, your back glute, curl it under and draw the ribs, the left side ribs, the ones closest to the floor, draw those in a little bit. And then pause. You can move the hands further out or closer in, but generally speaking, we're not looking for the biggest, deepest stretch here. We're just trying to see if we can access that deep belly again by drawing those underside ribs in, tucking through the outer hip, and lengthening the spine and the sacrum. Breathe. Almost there. And release it. Come back to center. Woo. I know. Good. Straighten both legs, everybody. Flex both feet. Give me a solid Dandasana. Again, right? As we do these kind of split leg things and pelvic things, I really like bringing everything back to neutral and aligned. So breathe. Bend the knees, take your feet to the front or back of your mat. Grab a hold of your strap and keep it near your side and come on down to your back. Oh, I know, right? It's like, oh, that's better. And then just feel your pelvis, right? Feel your back and try to keep a little bit of a space between behind your lower back. Your hands can be down at your sides. And I want you to excuse me, push into your feet and lift your hips just a couple of inches off the floor. And imagine that your belly, from pubic bone to belly button and both hips, is the face of a clock, right? So on your left side would be 3 o'clock, your belly button would be 12, 6 o'clock for the groin or pubic bone. You got the idea. I want you to just lift 3 o'clock. Just lift that left side hip while still pushing into both feet. And then bring it back to neutral. And you can even put your hands lightly on your hips to feel this. So now I want you to lift 9 o'clock. Breathe. And lower that back to neutral. Lift 6 o'clock, which means what? You're tucking your pelvis strongly, so you should feel your glutes. And then bring it to level. And then try to lift 12 o'clock, which is really hard. So go easy. Really, it's a drop of the hips to kind of lift the belly button and then come to neutral. And then go around the clock. So 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. One more. 3, 6, I know this is weird. 9 and 12. Press into both feet. Press the hips up equally. Bridge pose, hands down to the floor. Tailbone long, push the heels away from each other. Hold your pose, everybody. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower hips first, down to the floor. Lengthen your spine. Keep your left foot to the floor. Bring your right knee to your chest. Grab your strap. Take that strap around your foot. Take it up to the ceiling. Wiggle the strap down so it's closer to the heel. Find that small space behind the lower back, straighten your left leg. Just breathe. Lift your left leg a couple of inches. Hold here. And then take the left leg slowly up to the ceiling. See if you can level out both feet. One has a strap, one doesn't. See if you can keep from flattening your lower back. And then lower the left leg, slow, slow. Don't let it touch the floor. And slowly draw it up. Keep the pelvis neutral. Bend both knees. Release your strap and throw it on your other foot. Your right foot goes to the floor, your left leg goes up to the ceiling. Here we are again, everybody. Lengthen out through both hips. The strap is pressing into the heel more than the toes. Breathe, straighten the right leg. Big deep breath. Lift the right foot a couple inches. Core work here. Working with the transverse abdominis. If you push into your low belly, you should feel those muscles engaging. And then slowly lift, but don't flatten the lower back. Level out the feet so that they're right next to each other. Slowly lower the right leg. Breathe. And reach it up slow. Pause. Don't flatten the low back. I know how tempting that is. And then slide your right foot in the strap with your left foot. Hold the strap on either side and take the legs as wide as your strap and or legs will go. So wide leg, space behind the lower back. Let everything else be heavy. And then pull the legs back together. Bend both knees, take your straps off. Feet to the floor, pause. And then soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. If you feel overarched, then lengthen your spine. Just pause here. Just breathe, everyone. Good. Bring the knees together. Cross your left knee over your right. Bring both knees to your chest. Round to your heart's delight. Let that back go flat. Stretch through the hip, the leg, the back body. And only if you want on your exhale, bring your head toward your knees and really round everything to the center. Release your head. Take the feet back to the floor. Undo your knees. Switch sides. Right knee on top of left. Both knees come to chest. And draw them in with your hands. This should feel really good. And then only if you want on your exhale, draw your head toward your knees. And release the head. And release the legs. And take one leg to one corner, one leg to the other corner. Whew. Squeeze your hips and glutes really, really, really tight. And exhale, let it all go. One more time. Big squeeze, everybody. Squeeze in through the glutes, the hips, the low belly. And let it go. Good. Find your Shavasana. Shoulders relaxed. Belly soft. Soften your jaw. Maybe notice how the hips feel, how the legs feel, how the lower back feels. Soften all the way down. Let this be the perfect moment of non-doing. So for those of you who would like to stay in Shavasana, we ran a little bit over, so I'm cutting Shavasana a little short. So please stay there. If you are there and it feels wonderful, just stay. If you are ready to move about your day, then start to bend your knees and draw your knees to your chest. And then rock side to side, maybe even some knee circles. And then allow the knees to roll to one side or the other. Curl over to fetal pose, take a moment there. And then as you're ready, press yourself up softly and slowly to your seated pose. And bring your hands to your heart, everyone. May our curiosity never cease. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everybody.